pupillary responses while perceiving familiar shapes and objects in clouds. This is our group. We did this project all together. Fatima, Palvi, Ekaterina. This experiment is based on previous research about measuring the pupil diameter of participants while viewing artistic paintings. The participants were asked to press a button as soon as they recognized the object depicted in the abstract painting. The paintings were divided into 3 groups based on their level of abstraction, namely, low abstraction, medium abstraction and high abstraction. They found that the time taken to recognize the depicted object was the least for paintings with the lowest level of abstraction. Their work also shows that the pupil diameter following the explicit point of recognition was larger, compared to before the point of recognition. People have been looked at clouds since people have been people. They always use their imagination to see them as a familiar objects like animals and humans. First, we hypothesized that the time taken to recognize a familiar shape or object in the picture of a cloud is the shortest for the lowest level of abstraction. This means that the more clearly the object was depicted, the lesser time it would take for the observer to recognize it. Second, we hypothesized that the pupil diameter is larger following the moment a person recognizes a familiar shape or pattern in the picture of cloud, compared to the point before recognition. Our experiment consisted of 4 different stages. The pre-experiment survey was an online UF Qualtrics survey, where participants were shown 21 pictures of clouds and asked whether they saw a familiar shape or not, and if they did, what it was. The participants were also asked to indicate how easily they could recognize the shape on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the easiest. We divided the 21 images into 3 groups, based on their average difficulty score across all participants. The 3 groups were labeled easy, medium and difficult. For the eye tracking experiment, we used a remote eye tracker called iTribe. This eye tracker gives out the timestamp, gaze position and pupil diameter. The tracker was attached below a monitor of resolution 1920 by 1080. The experiment was conducted in a quiet lab, with the background lighting turned off. We then conducted the eye tracking study. Participants were asked to fill out a short pre-questionnaire, with a few demographic questions. We also asked them to indicate their major and their perceived level of creativity. Prior to the experiment, each participant went through a simple calibration procedure. Participants were instructed not to move too much once they had been calibrated. We collected gaze data and pupil diameter as the participants viewed the 21 pictures in a randomized order. Each trial consisted of a fixation cross slide for 2 seconds, followed by the picture of a cloud for 10 seconds. A rest slide was shown after that for 3 seconds, where the participants could look away or blink. We also ensured that the average luminance of each picture was about the same, so that it wouldn't affect the pupil size. Participants were instructed to click using the mouse as soon as they recognized a familiar shape in the picture of the cloud. We recorded the timestamps of the mouse clicks. After the eye tracking study, we also asked the participants to fill out a post-questionnaire. This questionnaire had the same design as the online survey, and its main purpose was to ensure the participants had understood instructions and performed the experiment correctly. We had 16 participants in the experiment. We had to discard data from 4 participants due to inconsistency between the eye tracking data and the post-questionnaire responses. We computed the response time as the time difference between the mouse click and the onset of the stimulus picture. We calculated the average response time for each participant across all images in a particular level of difficulty. One-way repeated measures INRVA, followed by the Tukey HSD test showed a significant difference in response times between medium and difficult groups, and easy and difficult groups, but no significant difference between the easy and medium groups. We also analyzed the number of clicks that each image received, across all participants. A one-way INRVA followed by Tukey HSD showed a significant difference between all 3 pairs. In order to study the pupillary response, we calculated the mean pupil diameter for 1 second before the mouse click, and the mean pupil diameter for 1 second after the mouse click. Since the distributions were not normal, we ran the Mann-Wilcox test. The test showed no significant difference between the pupil diameter values before and after the mouse click. Conclusion. Our results are consistent with those of previous study about art appreciation. The pupil dilates when the observer recognizes a familiar shape or object in the picture of cloud. Further research can explore whether pupillary responses in art could be extended to object recognition in our surroundings.